A Maple Grove man appeared in court Monday accused of shooting his ex-girlfriend right in front of the couple's one-year-old child. Tylynn Wilson is charged with first-degree and second-degree attempted murder. According to the criminal complaint, Wilson kicked in the door of his ex-girlfriend's apartment, then shot the woman 12 times. The victim somehow survived the shooting. She told police that Wilson kept shooting until he was out of bullets. The complaint stated that Wilson wanted to kill the victim because she disrespected him. Police say Wilson is also a suspect in another shooting incident earlier this month. You probably noticed the chill in the air. It calls to mind the need for winter coats to help those less fortunate. Reporter Sonia Goins shows us what the Brooklyn Park Police Department and a local citizens group are doing to make a difference.
Going without a coat in Minnesota is not a good idea, but for some families who are barely making ends meet, this is their reality. Minnesota winters can be extreme, especially if you're not prepared for the elements.
There are a lot of families that are experiencing disparities here in Brooklyn Park.
Unfortunately, many residents at Huntington Place apartments are struggling financially and can't afford a winter coat.
A lot of people can barely make rent, and so when you look at the ability to be able to go and obtain those necessities that they need, and just seeing the rent to income barriers and things like that, the need for coats is absolutely there.
The Brooklyn Park Police Department and the Village BP Group are teaming up to fill the gap. The goal is to collect at least 800 winter coats and other items.
You can bring your coats in, gloves, mittens, hats, whatever you have to give, and we just ask that you bring it in clean.
Brooklyn Park Police wear many hats, including helping residents to stay warm during the winter.
We're public servants. We're out here for a number of different reasons, and we're community leaders. And so we find it our obligation to make sure that we're taking care of the community.
Neighbors having each other's back to hopefully stay warm this winter.
It's important because it's the sense of community. As community members, we have a duty to help those community members in need.
In Brooklyn Park, Sonia Goins, CCX News.
You can donate from now until November 4th. Drop-off locations include both Brooklyn Park precincts and Brooklyn Lutheran Church. When winter weather turns bad, the Hopkins School District plans to shift to an e-learning day. The Hopkins School Board approved the policy at the start of the school year. During an e-learning day, students can meet with their teachers through their school-issued devices. It also allows the district to plan for weather without having to consider adding days to the school calendar. Hopkins schools will communicate the shift to an e-learning day due to weather as soon as possible, saying it ideally would occur the day before. In another sign that corporate real estate is slowly rebounding, a Plymouth office building has sold, while a recent market report shows vacancy rates falling. The Jet 55 office building on Highway 55 in Plymouth recently sold for $30 million. That's according to a report by the Minneapolis-St. Paul Business Journal. Jet 55 was once the headquarters of Carlson Companies. It's now currently home to several different companies. A recent report also shows that the office vacancy rate in the I-394 market area, which includes Plymouth, was 20% lower than a year ago. A popular park serving residents in the Northwest Metro will soon get a few upgrades. Officials from the Three Rivers Park District say upcoming improvements to French Regional Park in Plymouth will help to better connect visitors with nature. On the north shore of Medicine Lake,
God-given. It's amazing. 4 seasons, and it's huge.
French Regional Park serves as a natural getaway in the heart of the Northwest Metro.
We got wilderness, we got urban, we got parks for little kids, we got swimming for any of the kids, we got biking, rollerblading.
Yes, the park has a number of amenities, but as officials with the Three Rivers Park District can attest, there's always room to get better.
We're making improvements, essentially revamping what we currently have in our infrastructure and our offerings to better serve the public.
The Park District is in the process of updating its master plan for French Regional Park. After taking feedback from the public, some of the proposals in the plan include adding more seating along the lake, moving the fishing pier to create better fishing opportunities, adding more lighting along the paths, and making upgrades to the visitor center. Ultimately, the goal is to keep current users coming back, but also encourage new people to use the park.
We are really trying to connect all types of people to the recreational activities and to the nature pieces that we have in the parks.
Yet physical improvements are only part of the plan. The programming is another big component of the long-term vision. Going forward, they're implementing a try it, learn it visitor experience model to help draw people here.
We want to welcome them and introduce them to new programs that are innovative. We want to pilot new programs that may be relevant to future generations.
Future generations that can get out of the house and enjoy some nature-based recreation.
I love it in here. It's great.
The upgrades to the park would cost around $2.8 million. The proposed improvements would take place over time as funding becomes available. In Brooklyn Park, plans are in the works for a new child care center that would offer something the area doesn't see a lot of: childcare in the evening. Christina's Child Care plans to build on a site that used to be a former Burger King. The lot is now vacant and is owned by the city's Economic Development Authority. The Child Care Center wanted to build a couple years ago, but COVID-19 delayed the project. The center would help serve parents with a wide range of work schedules. Its hours would be 5:30 a.m. until 11:30 p.m. This would be its second location. Christina's Child Care also has a location in Crystal. Stay with us. More news and sports in a moment.
It's been an outstanding season for the Whitesetter girls soccer team. The Trojans aim to advance to the Section 6-3A title game as they face Minneapolis Washburn in the semifinals.
Whitesetter and Washburn playing in the Section 6-3A girls soccer semifinals. Megan Sullivan on the corner kick, off the goalie's hand and into the Millers net for a goal, and the Trojans lead 1-0. Still in the first half, and Washburn's clearing pass is stopped by Sullivan. She gets free and then drives a shot in from 23 yards out. Whitesetter leads 2-0 at halftime. Second half, Lily Nair racing down the right side, puts the ball out front, where Grace Estby redirects it in for a goal. Whitesetter wins 3-0. They'll host Hopkins for the Section 6-3A final Tuesday at 5 p.m.
The Whitesetter boys soccer team is the top seed for the Section 6-3A tournament. They survived a scare in the semifinals.
Minneapolis Southwest boys soccer fired up and looking for the upset of Whitesetter in the Section 6-3A semifinals. First half, a great save by Lakers goalie Malcolm Munich diving to make the stop on Cole Frazier, keeping the match scoreless. But the Trojans break through a few minutes later. Callum Campbell-Salter chips the ball to Ben Eisinger, who kicks it in for a goal, and Whitesetter takes a 1-0 lead into halftime. Midway through the second half, the Lakers counter. Will Zenner on the corner kick. Pablo Gonzalez elevates to get the header goal, leveling the score at 1. And that's the way it would stay for a long time. Overtime now, the Trojans' Jackson Widman kicks it deep where Joe Highfield goes up and gets the header into the Lakers' net. Whitesetter survives. They beat Southwest 2-1 and host Minneapolis Washburn Tuesday at 7 p.m. for the section title.
In Section 5-3A boys soccer, second seed Champlin Park hosted third seed Osseo in the semifinals. Jason Malillo reports.
Champlin Park hosting Osseo in a boys soccer Section 5-3A semifinal. Drew Kalal serves a beautiful ball and Brian Avery flies in for the header goal, 1-0 Rebels. Osseo's Owen Kamvangsuk great hit on the free kick, but Champlin Park goalie Evan Martin with a leaping save. Then with less than a minute in the second half, Sylvester Doe breaks in and scores, and the Rebels win 2-0. They'll play Maple Grove in the section final. Jason Malillo, CCX Sports.
Thanks, Jason. Maple Grove's football team enters Wednesday's regular season finale with a perfect record. The Crimson put away another district opponent Friday night.
The top-ranked and unbeaten Crimson on the road at St. Michael to face the 3-3 Knights. Not a lot of offense for STMA in this game, thanks to good defense by the Crimson. Linebacker Caden Volko with a tackle for loss. Crimson lead 3-0 in the second quarter when quarterback Jacob Kilzer is under a lot of pressure, but somehow gets away from it and gets loose. He scrambles all the way down to the STMA 5-yard line. A 29-yard gain sets up 1st and goal. A couple of plays later, Kilzer gets some good blocks on the left side and goes in for a touchdown. Maple Grove leads 10-0. Next possession, it's Kilzer again following his blocks and then uses his speed to race to the end zone for his 2nd score of the night. The senior would rush for 224 yards and 3 touchdowns in the game. Another good defensive play here from Maple Grove. Jackson Powers gets an interception on the Colton Damaris pass, one of 2 picks in the game for Powers. It sets up a Connor Fortier field goal. This 26-yarder makes it 20-0 Maple Grove at halftime. Fortier with 3 field goals in the game. The Knights have their best offensive drive of the game to start the second half, but Sam Kleiber breaks up a pass on 4th down to end the drive. Maple Grove goes to 7-0 on the season with a 30-0 shutout of St. Michael Albertville.
And prep football teams will be seeded for the section playoffs on Friday. That's it for sports. More news after this.
Find more prep sports games and highlights at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.